Absolutely change your life. And it has changed my life, and it's changed many of my clients' life. The way it changed my life, just to run you down my road a little bit, when I first immigrated to Canada with my family in 2009, I was grade 8, I could barely speak English, I had no friends, and I found YouTube. YouTube was my escape. I made 350 YouTube videos in about a year, and I realized that I can actually connect with people online. When I was grade 10 in high school and I started this business, I've been doing this business for 13 years. Grade 10 in high school, I didn't know how to film. I didn't know how to edit. I went back to YouTube. I taught myself how to film, how to edit, how to find clients, how to run a business. Later on, when I had a business and I needed to find clients, I turned to social media, to Instagram, to TikTok, to YouTube, to Facebook, to LinkedIn. And 90% of my clients come from social media. Then, as my clients were doing well, I realized that they were not using social media, and I had been using it for all these years. So then I went to my real estate clients and I said, guys, like, we do all this amazing content together, but I don't see putting yourself out on Instagram. I know you as a person, but when I search you up, I have no idea who you are. Me as a seller or a buyer, why would I ever work with you if you don't even give me the opportunity to get to know you? So then I started teaching my clients. This is how you start doing social media. And now my clients are absolutely crushing it. Regardless of the market, I have had so many clients in the last year that have had their record years. And these are people that were during COVID, during the COVID boom, and they experienced a slump, and 2025 was still a record year for them. So I never want to blame the market for somebody not doing too well. You have to first look at everything you're doing and seeing if you're leaving money on the table. And I guarantee you there's probably people in this room that are currently leaving money on the table. So my goal for today is to teach you guys so you can leave this room and immediately take action. And as long as you believe and you have that mentality switch that, hey, social media can actually help me. And I meet a lot, I talk to like dozens of agents every single day. So I know for a lot of them, it's difficult. It's difficult to get on camera. It's difficult to feel confident. It's difficult to maybe believe. Maybe it's still for kids. Maybe TikTok is still for kids dancing and not for closing $16 million Waikiki penthouse, which my client did last week, right? It's not. It can literally change everything. So just to get a show of hands, just so I kind of adjust the meeting, I want to bring as much value to each of you guys individually as possible. I would love to know who is currently actively using social media every single week. Nice, the majority of you. Love it. Okay. Who has gotten either a buyer consultation or a listing appointment directly from that they can track directly from their social pages? Nice. Who has closed a deal directly from their social pages? Nice. How about in the last 7 days? Okay. Good. All right, perfect. So let's get started. We'll ask questions at the end, and my goal is so hopefully whoever's brave enough, we can put some of your guys' pages up and I can actively audit them and hopefully help you guys right away. But the problem is, a lot of people do post, right? Because everybody kind of believes now that, hopefully everybody believes I can help you. But this is the hardest part that I find with agents. Is like they'll post, but either they're posting the wrong stuff, either they don't have the system in place to convert the people that are actually engaging into actual clients, right? So that's usually the problem. I focus on this the most because I have seen clients like literally connect with billionaires. I have seen clients like do so much business without needing the tens of thousands of followers, without needing to go viral, just because they post very, very targeted content and they have the backend system in place to actually convert the 60 likes that they got, which most people ignore, right? Pages are good. We'll see about that. But again, same thing. Running ads, okay? So a lot of people will have the little boost on their Instagram, on their Facebook. Who's ever boosted a post? All right, you're very likely building Zuckerberg's house, but you're not really helping yourself, right? Boosting a post is taking money and just burning it. It literally is burning it. I love the idea of boosting a post if what you're actually boosting is a very, very specific targeted ad. And number two, you don't actually use Boost, but you actually go through Ads Manager on your desktop and you run it as a proper ad, okay? And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. But please never ever just like post a just listed and then click boost and put a little budget or whatever. They'll charge you an extra 30%. It's not going, even if you think you're targeting, you can't really target people. But now in the last 6 months, Meta AI has completely changed the advertising game. It has made it 100 times easier. This feels like Google Ads back in the early 2000s. I have had clients, my client Eric Taniguchi, he booked 6 listings appointments last week. He landed 4 of them, all by running a $20 an ad Facebook ad. It's wild, but you gotta do it right. And then there's this, is the amount of people that ignore their DMs, the amount of people that when they get 8 comments, they don't immediately send a message to every single one of those 8 comments to see like, hey, thanks so much for liking my post. Did you have any questions? Hey, thanks so much for the follow. What brought you here? Starting those conversations in the DMs, this is where the majority of the deals will happen from your socials. So like that is crucial. And later on, we'll talk about bringing on a virtual assistant to do that for you, because it's not really the best use of your time, right? But a virtual assistant could be exactly what they should be doing for you every single day. All right, so let's talk about the funnel, because the most important thing that you really want to do is you want to make sure that your social pages do 90% of the selling for you every single time. You don't want to have to oversell yourself. You don't have to constantly explain yourself. When you're just doing one-on-one or networking events, that's small, right? If you have a proper page that converts, at any point that somebody decides to Google you, to ChatGPT you, to Gemini you, they met you at an open house, and they maybe had a pretty good feel, and they'll click Google, but then they go to your Instagram and they find absolutely nothing, you just lost that person, right? So we want to make sure before you do anything, before you invest $1 in advertising, before you print more flyers, before you go to more networking events, you have to make sure that your page is selling for you even when you're sleeping, okay? And that's what we need to work on today. So somebody will hear about you, they'll Google you, or ChatGPT is just as important now. I know buyers and sellers already that are using ChatGPT a ton. And then a lot of times, every single one of you, I highly encourage to Google yourselves. At least once a month. At least once a month. What is that seller finding when they Google or ChatGPT you? What should they be finding? What should they not be finding? And make sure they're only finding the right information. The funnel starts right there. And then when they end up on your socials, that's when it's the top of funnel and we can take them through the funnel. So what we need to have, right, is let's talk about Instagram, and a lot of the other platforms you can have the same thing. Your pinned posts are some of the most important things, because why? If I click, I Google your name, a lot of times the second or the first or the third link will be your Instagram. If you've ever posted on Instagram, it's just how it works. I'll click on your Instagram, and then your pinned post, or you don't utilize pinned posts, so the very first post that I see whatever you decided to post in the last week, right? It could be a complete random post. It could be like you at the beach, you drinking with your buddies. It could be a listing, but again, I'm not seeing you. So again, we have to be so incredibly intentional about what are people finding, okay? So we need to, your very first pin post should always be you. It should never be your listing. It should never be your point of view, right? It's gotta be you. I wanna hear you talk. I wanna hear your story. I want to hear in 60 seconds why I should consider working with you and not the other thousands of options I have out there, right? Because here we're not trying to get referral business, because referral business, okay, they already trust you, it's different. We need to build trust the moment somebody lands on your page. So that is one of the most important things that you must have. And it doesn't have to be the most professional, crazy production. Focus on your story, focus on a good story. Speak from the heart. Don't script it. I don't want to see, whenever I see people read the lines, like you can tell they're like trying, like they're reading, terrible. Never do that. Speak from the heart, because if I'm a client that's going to trust you with my biggest asset, I need to know that I could actually trust you to bring you into my own home. It's very important. Next, for any of you guys that have done a deal before, please ask your client for a video testimonial. Every single time you've had any sort of successful transaction on the buy, on the sell, it doesn't matter. The moment it happened, tell them, Mike, can I just do a quick 30-second video about our experience together? People are so afraid of doing this because they think the client will say no. I guarantee you the majority of the time they'll always say yes. And I've had clients that have worked with very high profile individuals, billionaires, famous people, stuff like that, that they say yes. And we went to their home, and yes, they were keeping those videos private, but when they go to their listing presentation, they're like, hey, look like J-Lo said about me, you know? So very important to get this. And it should often be one of your pinned posts. Because you can tell me how great you are all day long, but if I hear directly from one of your clients, again, our goal is to just build trust with that person that lands on your page. You're gonna build trust so much quicker when you do that. And then the next one, you have a little bit more room to play with. If, let's say, you're targeting sellers, right? I would love, as a seller, I would love to see how well you can market my home. Because ultimately, a lot of the conversations I hear my clients have, especially here on the island, it's like, they wanna know, what are you really gonna do, right? How are you gonna get my property in with as many eyes as possible, right? So I would love to see a lot of times, especially for agents that target sellers, again, it has to be you, but this time it can be featuring one of your listings in the best way possible. I wanna see an epic reel, because again, if I've gone through this as a seller, I get to know you, I hear you're legit, and now I see it. Now I see how well you're gonna market my home. There is no reason why I wouldn't reach out to you if you've done that. No reason. And you gotta make sure we do that. All right, perfect. Any questions about the pin posts? Awesome, perfect. All right, so this is already kind of what I mentioned. Please, please, please try to be as authentic as possible. Some of my favorite content that my clients end up getting clients from is clients when they just tell really good stories, right? So let's just say you just were able to negotiate an incredible deal, right? From, you know, you beat out all these different offers, or you ended up like finding your client the dream home. Like, tell me that story. And again, you can keep your client's privacy. You don't have to share names, you don't have to share numbers, but again, tell me that story, right? Same on the listing side. You were just able to sell in this difficult market, you were still able to get the home sold. How did you do that? Tell me that, I need to hear that. So try your best to not just focus on like property after property after property after property. That's very easy to do, right? Try your best to focus just as much as on yourself. And obviously, if the goal is to, again, connect with more people and get clients through Instagram. And this applies to most, and I'll talk to you guys about the different types of platforms, but this kind of works for all of them. In terms of trends, one quick note on trends. You have to, this is like one piece of advice that I think is one of the most important that a lot of agents don't understand. I spend more time fixing agents' brands than like actually building them up. And what do I mean by that? I'll connect sometimes with an agent and I realize that they've been posting, they've been working hard, but they went after every single TikTok trend. They're marketing to everyone, aka marketing to no one, right? You guys have to reverse engineer exactly who your audience is. Because I guarantee you, so many of you actually have different audiences. You enjoy working with different types of people, and that's okay, right? So what does that mean? When you're gonna think about posting something, you should only communicate with your ideal dream client avatar. And if you don't know who that is, lock yourself in your office for 3 hours and find out what that dream avatar is. Don't do any of this for just like your next commission. Do this because for that impossible dream, that like, if I could work with these types of clients, these would be my clients. You have to create your brand voice and all the content that you're gonna make just for those clients. Don't do it for your peers because nobody cares. Don't do it for your friends because they're gonna judge you anyway when you start posting yourself over social media. Who cares, right? You're only talking to one particular audience. Find out who that audience is and then find out, okay, based on my story and who I am, what is it that they should hear from me? What is it I want them to know me? This person that's out there, I know they're gonna watch my content, like what message do I wanna get across? And then it becomes a lot easier to find the type of content you should be making, right? And then as you start posting that content, once again, so important, don't ignore the likes, even if there's 12 of them. Look at every single name, who liked that reel, okay? is that somebody you should send out a DM intro to, right? Who followed you over the last week? Find out why. Every single interaction could be a potential lead, okay? And again, if you don't have the time to do that, which I understand, and it's not the best use of your time, I highly recommend the book Buy Back Your Time, changed my life. Hire virtual assistants. I have 30 of them on staff. My business is currently fully automated. It's running. We have a dozen shoots happening today. I'm here with you, and my phone's on Do Not Disturb. And that's because every single time I find a place in my business that I can hire somebody for, I've hired them. So virtual assistants, they're running my whole page. If you send me a DM right now, you'll get a reply from one of my VAs, right? So that is, it can support you. You can learn the systems, create the SOPs, and then bring on a virtual assistant that can run everything for you. They can run your entire ads. They can run all your social media, book all the appointments for you. And yeah, if you guys haven't done that yet, or whenever it makes sense for you guys financially to do that, that's the first thing that you should do. Your first hire should be a VA that works full-time on your entire front-end and back-end system here. It'll be amazing. And we can talk more about that later. But yeah, very important. So that's how you create, that's how you find out the type of content that you should be making. Don't just go after every trend. I don't want to see all the crazy like dances. I don't need, unless that's your brand. Listen, I had a client in Toronto. His name was Matt Leonetti. When he first came to me, when he first got his license, he's like, hey man, I just want to be funny. I just want to do skits. I love socials. I love everything. I said, absolutely. That's who you clearly are. That's what we're going to do. It worked for him. When I have clients that try to copy him, but that's not really them, that doesn't work. You have to be authentic to who you really are, right? We talked a little bit about this, but number one, please stop boosting posts. We gotta run. You guys have to, every single one of you should create a goal this year that you will try and take advantage of Meta AI at some point this year, right? And the way you do that, and I can't get too technical in today's class, but the ad itself is by far the most important, because the way Meta AI works right now is based on exactly who you're targeting. If you create a very specific ad for your avatar, you don't have to do anything but run it in the background, and Meta AI will find the right people. It will bring it to your profile. Don't do this until you have at least a 3-pin post. So have your profile ready, start running the ad, have the right ad for it. It can be either 1 or 2 if you want to do A/B testing, depending if you have 2 client avatars. And then you're gonna bring people to your page. And on like 20 to 25 bucks a day, because nobody's doing it, so it's really cheap right now. I'll be honest, there's no competition. I don't think there's maybe a single person now who's doing it right now. It's like for 25 bucks a day, you can get yourself like anywhere between 15 to 20 new followers a day. If your page is good, if your pin posts are solid, 15 to 20 new followers a day, but those are random followers. Those are people that saw an ad that says, if you're thinking of selling O'Malley, if you're looking to buy O'Malley or whatever that avatar is, they decided to come to your profile. Your profile is incredibly targeted. It's for nothing but very obvious for real estate, and they decided to click follow. Those are legit people. So, and then you have a VA that's messaging them 15 to 20 people at a time. They book listing appointments and so on and so forth. So you no longer need to rely on the algorithm. You no longer need to go viral. There are ways to have your organic content go viral. What's working right now, there's a couple things, because we've had quite a few viral posts. Starting a series, day 1 of everything. I don't know if you guys saw one viral post that went up. It's like day 1 of living in my listing until it sells. Or day 1 of like, there's a ton of like, if you start a series and you do day 1 of something, the algorithm will very likely pick it up. But in order to do that, you actually have to want to post consistently, and you have to enjoy it. If you guys don't want that, you don't have to. If you guys hate social media, I'm here to tell you, you do not have to post every day. People that tell you post 5 times a day, post 7 times a week, do this, do that. If you love it, do it. If you don't, don't. If you don't love it, here's what you have to do. Get your pin posts in order, right? Post whenever it feels right, whenever you have a story to share, only post then, and then just have the ad running in the background. That's gonna constantly bring new people to you. That's the only thing. If you wanna grow organically, fantastic, then yes, I'm telling you, you should be posting at least 3 times a week. You should find the series that make sense for you and follow through to that series. Be very consistent. What worked for us on our own socials is like, you know, we put obviously the house tour that we've just filmed and we put the price hook, right, on screen, and we've had a ton of content go viral, not just for luxury homes, but also for like a $40,000 parking lot. It got like 600,000 views. But again, that's like posting very, very consistently. And not that it's unrealistic, it can definitely happen, but ever since Meta AI launched, you no longer have to rely on the algorithm. I highly recommend going this route for the people that don't want to spend too much time on socials. Any questions about this?
When did Meta AI, you're saying, change?
6 months ago. Yeah, about like Q3 of last year, and they're updated constantly, but they basically, you used to have the whole thing with the housing, right? So like when you ran an ad, you had to say that's a housing ad, and then you'd basically not be able to target anybody. Now with Meta AI, you can still say it's a housing ad. You don't say anything actually. And then, but because your ad, so like your call out is so powerful and your ad is so targeted, the AI just finds the people that are looking for exactly that. It's just automated. And then more so, you've now gained, let's say you run it for a couple months, you've gained like 800 to 1,000 followers. You now, and obviously you're DMing everybody, you're now telling Meta AI to be like, hey, everybody that I've spent the most in the DMs, or everybody that I've just marked as a converted lead or a pre-qualified lead or somebody I sat down with, I want you to create a lookalike audience and find me another 1,000 people that are identical like them. So whoever behaves just like them, aka people that are searching for properties on Maui, all of that, immediately they're gonna see your ad, but now the ad, and then another thing you're gonna do a retargeting ad, which is even crazier, because then you're gonna take your client testimonial and you're gonna tell Meta AI to be like, show it to the people that I've spent the most amount of time DMing, or that I have spent the most amount of time on my profile. So now it's gonna take that testimonial, and those people won't be able to escape you. They're gonna like dream about you, because every time they open their phone, they keep seeing you, right? I have people call me, they're like, I can't stop seeing your face. I was like, well, this was done on purpose. Or like, you know, when people talk about like, oh, I was just talking about like, I've literally had people that like, they'll say, because we run ads for a few clients, and like, they told me that they were on vacation, just talking about buying a vacation property in Kahala, and then the very next thing they open their Instagram and they see my client's ad about buying an investment property. It's like, oh my God, how did that happen? It's like, yeah, it's not on purpose. Like, it's not, you know, it's just how it works. You gotta take advantage. It's the life we live in. None of us have privacy, guys. Everything you do, our phones are constantly being recorded. You should take advantage of it and grow your business with it, because it's next level. So highly recommend it. This is just as important as anything else. I talked about it extensively because so many people, I go into their profiles and I find out that they left so much money on the table. We have some clients that they had massive success, and then I realized that they were leaving $2 to $3 million on the table. So we built a whole backend system for them. They had a lot of followers. They had about 160,000 followers, but they didn't monetize them whatsoever. And then the moment you do this, which is basically, again, for me, it always comes down to having a VA. But right now, if you're not ready for that, do it yourself, is making sure that you can even on Instagram, you can even color code your DMs, right? So your whole Instagram can turn into a CRM that you then obviously transfer into your actual CRM. So like, so incredibly important that like you make sure you track your KPIs, so you find out if you're running ads, like how many listing appointments have I actually booked, how many followers am I getting, how many conversations am I having, everything that like you do outside, like, you know, your real estate, like your contacts, your 20 contacts or whatever they call it a day, is the same thing on socials. So you have to treat it just like any other part of your business. Treat it like a business and it's gonna be so successful. Don't ignore the people that are already engaging with you. That is where, even today, if you go back to your last 100 likes, if you send 100 DMs by the end of the day, you probably have a couple of meetings booked by the end of the week. So by the end of next week. So I highly recommend that. Any questions about this?
How do you track key metrics? Like, that sounds complicated. Is that a VA do that for you?
Yeah, so like my VA send me a report every single week for everything, like, you know, the money we spent on ads, what that converted to. Like, to tell you transparently, for me, every dollar that I spend, I put $13 profit in my pocket. So I get 13x return on ad spend, which is pretty insane. A lot of those like marketing agencies, like they were like, you know, advertising that 3x is fantastic. Like you can, with Meta AI now, you can get way more. I have clients, you know, a few clients that have even better numbers, because for them, you know, they do a deal, 2 deals, 3 deals a month. it's like 50x, 100x on return on ad
And
spend.
your VA track, like you said.
My VA tracks it, but you can very easily do it yourself. Again, like when you start running ads, you have an insight page so you can very easily see. And obviously, if you're going to go heavy on like what I call the DM CRM, so when you color code everything, and then they have like, we use a separate CRM for it, but you can literally have a sheet that shows you like, hey, this is how many like listing appointments I booked. This is how many like conversations I've had. This is how much I've spent. And it's very easy. Like obviously, like followers only kind of matter if you're running ads because then they're targeted followers. Followers from like a random kind of viral video, they're way harder to convert, right? So this has a lot to do with running ads. At the same time, even if you're running your page organically, it's still important to at least make sure you do this, right? To engage with every single person that's engaged with any of your posts on any platform, which can take some time if you're posting actively. So that's where the VA comes in. Yeah. Any other questions about this? No? Okay, cool. Already kind of explained this, right? So if we're gonna run ads, we take people to your profile. So the ad is never gonna sell someone. Nobody's ever, you're gonna run an ad and they're gonna decide to list their $3 million property with you just because they saw a 30-second ad. Absolutely not. The only thing the ad has to do is bring them to your profile, right? And your profile has to absolutely crush. Once your profile crushes, they can at least click follow. If they've clicked follow from your 3-pin post, they're now in your funnel. Welcome, fantastic. They shouldn't escape out of your funnel until they've bought or sold something with you. I see every single follower as a lead that must convert. And if I need to find out why they're not converting, right? You guys have to do the same because you're not getting thousands of followers every day. You'll get 10, you'll get 15, you'll get 5, depending on your ad budget. So then every single person should become a client. And if they're not, that means either your ad is not good enough, right? Or that's really the only reason, because right now AI is just gonna do it for you. Yeah, then put them through your DMs and then book meetings with them as quickly as possible. In the beginning, it's a little tough until you get the system fully going, just because what ends up happening is like, you know, your pixel as you install it, it might take like 1 or 2 weeks to like warm up and get you the right followers. But I promise you, like I've literally had clients that started running ads and within 48 hours, they already had a listing appointment booked. It's like turning on a tap. It can be instant, right? It's not something you have to like, oh, you have to work on for the next 2 years. No, it works right away if you do it right. Yes?
When you say profile, you might have already said this,
yeah.
But, you know, Facebook business versus Facebook personal versus Instagram.
Yeah. By far, for realtors, Instagram is by far the highest converting platform. I mean, there's billionaires. We had a princess of Dubai buy one of our clients' properties. We had a billionaire from San Francisco that literally, the Waikiki penthouse that Paul just closed for 15 mil. We did a video together. They found it right away. They flew in, like actually the son-in-law found it. That's a cool thing. It's like, it was the son-in-law who like, yeah, he's in his 30s, showed it to his billionaire dad who's in his 70s. They flew in on their private jet. They bought the property and like, it's just crazy. Like social media is wild. But yeah, it's Instagram, I would say by far, if you're gonna go all in on one platform. I never recommend to go all in on one platform, but that's where my clients are getting most of their business from.
So if you're running meta ads and, you know, I believe there's an option there where you can like, you know,
turn everything off, Instagram story only. So you go Instagram story profile only, especially the initial reach ad. Then when you get into retargeting, lookalike, you can have a little more fun with it. But for the initial one, it should be Instagram only, turn off Facebook, unless, again, like depends on your business in particular. If you get more clients from Facebook, Facebook might make more sense. But for most of our realtors, Instagram for sure.
Is there any reason, you might not have the answer, but just saying why Instagram is over Facebook? I mean, obviously I know that there's an older crowd of Facebook, young crowd of Instagram, but anything outside of that?
I honestly, I can't, like anybody that tells you they understand the algorithm, they're lying to you. I don't get it. Yeah. For me, the only metric that I ever look at is like how much cash my clients are getting in their pockets, right? I mean, that's true, the only metric that matters. And for some reason, they convert. I feel like on Instagram, I feel like you can get somebody to know, I don't know, it's a platform that I see a lot of people, even older people now, like, you know, my parents, even my grandparents, like they're currently like watching my stories every day. Like they're transitioning a lot to it. And there's just like, I can't think of a single wealthy person that doesn't spend hours on Instagram every day. I've met a ridiculous amount of high net worth individuals and like it's such an easy, like more than Facebook, honestly, right? So obviously we deal, like we shoot everything and work with everything, but we do deal with a lot of luxury, and at least in the luxury space, I would say that's the one that converts the most. Yeah, any questions? Any questions about everything I talked about? Sorry, if I went a little hard on you guys. Any questions about the whole presentation, about anything at all?
I want to talk about the VA stuff that you said you might share with us.
Yeah.
I think we all been thinking about it if we haven't already.
So VAs, to tell you truthfully, like they completely changed my life, right? So to be super transparent with you, like I'm running a business, right? So I have a lot of overhead. At some point in my business, I had about $200,000 a month in overhead, right? The business that I run, obviously it fluctuates as well, kind of like you guys with the market. When you have that kind of monthly overhead, for me to have to pull like $500,000 a month to be able to like, keep things afloat. And that's because I was working, I had a lot of like C-suite, 6-figure positions, things like that. And then I connected with a virtual assistant from the Philippines. Her name's Camilla. She currently runs my entire operations. She's incredible. And when I connected with her initially through an agency because I was looking for more admin support. So I found it through an agency. I found out, obviously, as I started working with her that like they were paying her like $1 an hour and like pocketing the rest. And like it was like this whole thing. So I was like, come work for me. Like you're freaking so talented. You're fantastic. We can grow together. So I started working with her. And why that was like such a lucky thing for me is that Camilla's connected with around 20,000 very highly skilled, incredibly talented virtual assistants from the Philippines. So every single time I need a new hire, I have, within 30 minutes, I have 3 interviews lined up, and by the end of the day, they're hired. And I've never had to fire anyone. They've all been incredible. I hired Camilla about 4 years ago, and again, now I have 30 of them. And ever since I realized what a game changer it was, I've told all my clients, I was like, you guys, like not even a question. It's like the most incredible thing to do to a business that's like ours, that like, 1 month you might crush it, the other month, like you don't know what you're gonna do. So you have to really watch your overhead while still being able to buy back your time, right? Because the best use of your guys' time is always with your clients. It's never really scrolling on Instagram or, creating content, unless again, you love it. But if you don't love it, you have to stay in your genius, right? And that is usually front facing with the clients all day, every day. And the only way you can do that effectively while still focusing on the things that will grow your business, in my opinion, is to hire VA. And like at what, $4 an hour, $5 an hour, like.
And would you have recommendations or a phone number or anything, or do you kind of keep?
So I can, not that I keep it private, so where I share like our VAs with our clients, like if you need one, we can definitely connect. And I can bring on a VA on your team depending what you're looking for. Like, for Eric, for example, because we've hired 3 VAs for him, he uses some of them as like, admin TC, but then he has one that's just for their social media full time. So we usually like to make sure, especially if you're going to use them for anything to do socials, we can train them entirely, teach them all of the systems that we know everything when they come to your business. They're plugged, ready to go, ready to run everything for you, and they'll crush it. So that's something that we can definitely help you with. Yeah. Any other questions? Awesome. Okay. I'd love to do some profile audits. If there's still time, do you still have time to look at somebody's profile? Okay. So who is brave enough to allow me to look at their Instagram page?